Now you must have observed a lot of things around you, and over a period of time you must have observed that some substances change, while some of them, even if they change, they can come back to their original state. So we are going to study now two types of changes, that is reversible change and irreversible change. The word reversible change, it suggests that those are the changes which can be reversed to get back the original substance. So in this case, the change is in such a way that you can regain the original substance. So example is the change of state of water. So we have studied in change of state that when you heat water, it changes into water vapor. But at the same time, if you cool this water vapor, you can get back the liquid water. So basically it is a reversible change. So reversible change is the one in which the material turns into something, but then it can be changed back to its original form. Now let's study the next type of change, that is irreversible change. Now in this type of changes, the change cannot be reversed to get the original substance back. Right? So such kind of change is a permanent change. In this case, it is not possible to change the new substance back into the original substance. So example, if we burn an incense stick or wood, it changes to ash. So completely a new substance is formed and you cannot get back the incense stick from the ash. So it is not possible to change ash back into incense stick or wood. So such kind of changes where you cannot regain the original substance are called as irreversible changes. So let's summarize that if I want to write the difference between reversible change and irreversible change. So the first point will be changes which are temporary are called as reversible change, and in irreversible change we can write changes which are permanent. Right. In reversible change we can write that we get the original substance back, while in irreversible change we can write that we do not get the original substance back. In reversible change we can write that no new substance is formed, while in irreversible change we can see that a new substance is formed. Example of reversible change is that ice melting into water, while when water is again cooled, you will get ice. In irreversible change, we can write an example like when you burn an incense stick or wood, it turns into ash. We have already seen reversible and irreversible change. So basically, matter can change in different ways, and these changes can be classified into physical and chemical change. We see different types of changes taking place all around us all the time. And how we come to know that okay, this is physical change or this is chemical change, and how we'll classify the different changes into physical or chemical change, that we'll see in detail. Now in this slide you can see pictures of changes. So the first picture depicts crushing a can, second is melting an ice cube, third is boiling water, then mixing sand with water, breaking glass, dissolving sugar in water, shredding paper, chopping wood, mixing green and red marbles, or sublimation of dry ice. Now all these examples, the common thing is that here in every change we can just see that the physical form of that matter is changed, while the original properties or the properties of the original substance, they remain the same. The properties have not changed at all. Only the physical form of the matter is changed. So such kind of change is the physical change, and all these examples are actually of physical change. So now let's study what physical change is about. So all the examples seen in previous slide are examples of physical change. So, a physical change is a change in which the substance may look or feel different, but the internal composition of the substance remains the same. Mean to say, as I said, that externally the substance is changed, but whatever it was made up of internally, that all things remain the same. So the properties of the substance remain the same, only the physical form of the substance changes. Now physical changes are also reversible changes, means you can get the original substance back. The most common example of physical change that we see every day is water changing into ice on freezing. This is a physical change because molecules remain the same. It is only water that change physically to form ice. But on melting again, ice changes to water. Similarly, cutting wood, tearing of paper, these all are physical changes. You can say they are permanent physical changes basically, because once you tear the paper, you cannot get an intact paper back. But tearing a paper is like just changing the physical form of it, not the internal composition of it. So this is physical change. Now this slide shows different examples of changes like iron rusting, burning wood, metabolism, that is we can say digestion of food basically, cooking an egg, baking a cake, electroplating, rotting banana, vinegar and baking soda mixture, fireworks or chemical battery. So all these changes are types of chemical changes, because I think when you see all these changes, one thing that is common which you immediately understand is that a new substance is getting formed in this. And it makes sense that once a new substance is formed, you are not able to get the original substance back. So these all are examples of chemical changes. Let's see in detail what is a chemical change. The chemical change is a change in which the matter changes into something completely different. As I said, when you have seen the examples, entirely a new substance is obtained. So when a chemical change takes place, the composition of the molecules change and an entirely new substance is obtained, which has its own distinct properties and molecular arrangement. So when you burn wood and it turns into ash, completely a new substance is formed which has its own properties, right? Now, most chemical changes are irreversible changes. It means you cannot obtain the original substance back. Example, burning of paper. So when paper is burned, it produces ash, and this ash cannot be turned back into paper. Whatever properties of paper are present, they are not seen in when the paper burns and turns into ash. Ash will show entirely new properties. So completely a new substance is formed. It is an irreversible change, and this is all about chemical change. So in this slide, you can observe that there are different pictures of iron being rusted. So what is the meaning of being rusted, or what actually happens when iron rusts? So when iron is kept in open for a long period of time, and if it is exposed to humid air, that is the air which is full of water vapor, so moisture is present in the air. So in this case, iron reacts with oxygen to form a thin red layer of iron oxide. So you can immediately understand that here a reaction is happening between iron and oxygen to get a new substance. So it means to say that we will not obtain the original substance, or we cannot get the original substance back. So entirely a new substance is formed. So this is a kind of chemical change. And this wearing away of iron, or the iron getting rusted, the term used is corrosion. So basically here corrosion is a chemical change. Now the next term that we have to study is combustion. So what combustion means? It means burning of a substance in air. So basically it is again that the substance will burn in presence of oxygen. Again, it's a kind of reaction that is taking place here. So when a substance burns, it forms smoke, gases and ash. And we know again a new substance is being formed here and you cannot get the original substance back. So these substances are entirely different from the original substance. So again, this is an example of chemical change. So wood burning or paper burning, all these things are examples of chemical change. So burning of a substance is combustion.